Alright everyone, I'm not too particularly happy right now. As the majority of you know, about 90 days ago, this channel received a community guideline strike in regards to a video I'd made about the overall topic of the shooting at YouTube headquarters for violent content. I waited out the 90 days as the strike restricted this channel's ability to do live streams, and though honestly it did slip my mind a couple days back, this morning I remembered, oh yeah, that strike expired, so let me head on over to my status and features page to see how everything is doing. I expected everything to be a-okay, since at the very top of the page here, these two little guys are in the green, 0 copyright strikes, 0 community guideline strikes. But as I scrolled down the page further, I was greeted to this lovely message. Your ability to live stream has been revoked. It's not still under restriction. Certain features of live streaming aren't disabled. The feature entirely is just revoked. Now, I've looked this up a little bit, and from varying forum posts on both YouTube help forums, Google support forums, and even certain Reddit forums dedicated to YouTube support and help, it doesn't look like anything in these particular situations is actually done to try to remedy this, to try to rectify this. And I'm not happy at all. I'm a dissatisfied customer. What was the point of making me wait 3 months to just find out eventually that the entire ability to live stream was going to be just censured away from me outright? Why couldn't you have just done that right off the bat? It's bad enough that I get a community guideline strike over a very innocuous video that contained no violent content, though it was flagged for violent content. It was essentially me just sitting here in this chair, offering my opinion about what I thought may have caused that shooting to happen. I think I said it was a disgruntled employee, possibly, because at the time, we didn't know much about why what happened. There was no gore, there was no blood. The thumbnail was just an image that was a fair use, free to use, royalty-free image some news person had taken of people being led out of the building by police. So at least there was some context to what it was that I was discussing, even though it was a huge news story at that time. And yet, me doing something as simple as just talking overall generally on a subject, and though it does pertain to YouTube, and it is a little fucked up, let's be honest here, you know, people died at that, my channel is condemned to losing a feature permanently. And I think it's very interesting that it's this particular feature, too. Live streaming is a very big thing right now on YouTube. People like seeing people do what I'm doing here live. Like, this video possibly would have gotten more reach than it's going to get if this were a live stream. I can't help feel like that's a small little bit of censorship. I don't know. I really can't say that I know. It's very strange to me. Why live streaming in particular? You know, monetization, okay. I mean, I don't really monetize my videos at all anymore anyway. I mean, you can see it right here. You know, not only does my my former network apparently not exist anymore, as far as I can tell, I don't even have, you know, ad revenue enabled in any way, shape, or form. Obviously, right there. You know, taking that away, it wouldn't really be that big of a sting in my ass, but it's a sting in my ass to take live streaming away because it feels like they were worried that I potentially said something not in line with whatever their bizarre corporate philosophy is, which ends up dictating their terms of service. And terms of service, I'm going to get into in a minute here. So they didn't want to risk it. I've been in varying odd troubles and crossings with YouTube over the years on this channel, as a lot of you know. I mean, remember the time I had one of my videos copyright flagged for, you know, infringement, yet the video itself was me creating the content you see in that video. It was a video of me in my little studio space, office space in Vegas, I believe it was still. Me working on one of my music tracks, somebody filing a false copyright claim against it, and they adhering to that copyright claim and initiating it against my channel. flagging down both my ability to monetize and live stream for over 6 months. Ridiculous. Not only that, the appeal process was really what got me about that. I have to give my personal information, such as my address, my full legal name, and all kinds of stuff to some random troll on the internet. Like, that can't turn around badly. You dox yourself to somebody just trying to be petty and vindictive. Yeah, that doesn't turn out badly. But it's the only recourse that we have on this platform. It's ridiculous. But as I was saying a moment ago about terms of service, on the actual Google and YouTube help form here for it, this is something they say about terms of service. And it really, really got kind of a what the fuck chuckle out of me. If your live stream is restricted, you may also get a strike on your account, which will prevent you from live streaming for 3 months. Fair enough. If your account has been restricted from live streaming, you are prohibited from using another channel to live stream on YouTube. This applies for as long as the restriction remains active on your account. Violation of this restriction is considered circumvention under our terms of service and may result in termination of your account. Well, that sucks. What do I do now? Is this still the restriction period now that you've essentially cut the legs out from underneath my ability to live stream? Is it going to be considered circumvention now that I waited the 3-month period to find out that, well, that's just a toy you don't get to play with anymore because you were a little bit too naughty in our playground? My channel is going to be nuked if I create a new channel to do live streams on because this one has no ability to do it anymore. You know, it's bad enough you have to walk on eggshells with things that you say on this website because of the potentiality situations like this might unfold. But I just can't say honestly anymore that I give a shit about this inane, absolutely arbitrary bullshit rule. And I'm going to make another channel, and I'm going to live stream on it, because I was given no reason as to what justified the flagging of that video. It was just flagged for violent content. There was no timestamp in the video where violent content was mentioned. There was nothing. I even ended up deleting the video because in my naivete, I thought that might just remediate the situation right then and there, and I didn't have to deal with this 90-day YouTube jail. But no. This is ridiculous. This is why YouTube, if anybody working for you sees this or listens to it, you're losing people that are commentators for the most part from your platform to other alternate media platforms. And this is something that Styx talks about a lot, and this is exactly why he says it. This kind of shit. People don't want to put up with it. People don't want to have to worry about which video of theirs is going to be that magic eggshell that doesn't have enough integrity to support their weight anymore and just cracks under pressure and gets them completely either deplatformed or just censored and shadow banned and all kinds of other parades of horribles that keep people from having any sort of intrinsic reach with whatever message it is that they're trying to get across. Thus, they leave YouTube and go to alternate platforms because these platforms understand that it's bad business philosophy to say that we need to enforce our personal, political, bureaucratic, philosophical biases outright over an entire base of people that use this website just to try to communicate ideas to one another. I've been on this website since 2006, and if you don't believe that, you can check the About section on this channel. I've been around for a long time, and things have just been progressively getting worse here in these regards due to this kind of stuff, and it really does piss me off. It's not paid attention to any degree by the people that run and maintain this site. I don't know why. I don't know why. Unless it's purposefully done so that they eventually just get people who are commentators that like the community here so fed up with this kind of shit they just leave, and it's like an intentional effort to push people off the site and only retain the people they want here. I don't understand why it's done. It just makes people lose more and more faith that this is going to be a substantial legacy commentary platform on the internet within the next, even 10 years. I mean, personally, I don't foresee it lasting that long. I really don't. I would wager that this has probably got another 5 years left in it. People are going to get so fed up with the only content advertised to them being idiocy from people like the Paul brothers. YouTube's clamor to try to become the internet equivalence of what cable TV was in the 90s. I mean, I called that out back in 2009. It's their way of saying without saying that there's no place for people like us here anymore. And that's one of the reasons when I went to VidMe, I was so happy that VidMe was a thing. I mean, it offered an actual alternative to a platform like this. And this is something that somebody like myself can really get behind, because we're just so censored by a lot of this kind of bullshit that is never explained to us why it's initiated, that it's almost pointless for us to continue to try to utilize this as a platform to either facilitate, commentary on other people's content, or facilitate commentary on things in the news, or just facilitate, just us platituding about what's on our mind at the time. It's ridiculous. You can't speak your mind because you might say something that's wrong, and we can't have that. It's ridiculous. and the irony of it too is it comes like right on the cusp after me recording and releasing a song called Thought Crime. How ironic is that? What a coincidence. But no. I mean, as I said earlier, I looked this up, and not just on these two tabs. I mean, I had like about 10 different tabs open, 10 different individual situations of people going through the same thing that I'm going through here, and no single one of them had this, rectified in any way, shape, or form. The YouTube powers that be, the people that had at least some kind of administrative capacity helping them out, they just either they let the thread die and then locked the thread, or refused to give any real clarification on why their account's ability to live stream was revoked and what can be done about it. What's funny is that the way that they responded to it, and from what I was reading, there is a clear distinction between what this is, like you're restricted for 3 months, and that's what I was, and this, where it's just your ability to live stream has been revoked. There's a silent acknowledgement that there is a delineation between the two, where one can be rectified, which would be this one, the restriction, and if not, then you're in basically YouTube prison for live streaming, if you want to consider it that, where they just refuse to do anything about it. Now, I know that there are services out there on Twitter. There's at Team YouTube on Reddit here. This actually was responded to by, I believe, where is he? He was in here, Trusted Flagger. And honestly, though these outreaches do exist, at the moment I'm a little bit hesitant, a little bit skeptical to reach out, because I don't know whether or not their help is going to be genuine. Trusted Flagger, I don't know how I feel about that kind of stuff. Team YouTube, I don't know how I feel about that kind of stuff, because it seems like it's a flat, cold, disingenuous support network that only exists to kind of keep YouTube's surface image looking squeaky clean. Like they don't do weird, backstabby sort of bullshit like this. It's just to keep a facade up. So it's like, yeah, we don't really want to have a support network because we really don't want to actually have to give a shit about just randomly banning people. But since so many people have complained about it, here you go. So I don't know. At the moment, I'm not really considering it. I might later on, just to get this re-enabled. I will make another channel. It will be dedicated to live streaming. I know what the terms of service say. But if I'm not given a valid reason as to why this is put against my channel, I'm not given reason enough to give a shit about terms of service. It's like the futility of law in general. There are certain laws you abide. Don't kill people, don't steal shit. But stupid little bylaws out here, like you can go to jail for throwing like the pickles of your sandwich on the ground because it's considered fucking littering. Well, nobody really gives a shit. I mean, a bird's gonna fly by and eat it anyway. Nobody's going to prison over it. This is ridiculous to just shut my ability to communicate to people on a potentially larger presence, all because of an innocuous video that's not even violent, and whatever was considered violent in it is not identified to me. Anyway, that's basically what's going on with this. It wasn't something I wanted to find out about, you know, first thing in my day, but well, I guess. And yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Hopefully this doesn't knock my channel back into the Stone Age, where I'm not even allowed to have longer than 15-minute uploads. And I find that funny, before we leave here, that these kind of seem almost like punishment tiers. Like, basically, you get in trouble, you do something bad, and so this ability is knocked out as a result, this ability is knocked out, this ability is knocked out, anything to do with streaming is knocked out. So then I get into trouble again. Well, then what? Did they take the 15-minute, longer than 15-minute ability to upload away? I'm back in 2008 YouTube, where we all thought, oh yeah, now we can do 15-minute videos. And then we realized, oh, well, the ability to upload unlimited length content actually is a hell of a lot more sensible than some arbitrary limitation. Especially on a service that's run by Google that has literally zettabytes worth of server space out there to store all of this video content in a digital form. You know, I don't know. It's just, you screw up enough, and then you get your ability to upload knocked off. It's, you know, you're in like YouTube solitary confinement. You know, like you try to go to your homepage and it just redirects to sanquentinprison.com or something. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got to say on this. I mean, what are your thoughts on it? What do you guys feel about all of this? I mean, I'm sure that there are some of you out there that probably had to deal with similar things yourself in your travels through YouTube. If you do content on YouTube and you're not just, you know, a passive watcher, which there's nothing wrong with that, where the majority of my audience lies, and that's not a bad thing at all. But as for people that do YouTube, do what I'm doing here, or do something similar to it, or any other capacity, even if you just produce music and upload it to YouTube, I mean, what are your thoughts on all this? Because like I said, I mean, we've all experienced some bullshit from them, and I'd like to know how people feel about this. And if you were in a situation like this, where you got something like this revoked status with your live stream, and you were able to remedy it, how were you able to do that? So... and was it able to be done anyway? Anyway, that's pretty much all I got for this. So, yeah, I'll catch you on the flip side. Take it easy.